In this video, we are going to see what is asynchronous function and promise and why we are need the two. Basically, asynchronous function is a function which runs parallelly. Uh, for example, take two function A and B. If you want to run it in parallel means that time we use asynchronous function. Basically, asynchronous function is used to run our function parallelly, and also how we can say that asynchronous function often referred to as an async function. It is a type of function in programming that allows non-blocking execution of code. What is the meaning of that? If we are running two function at the same time, if one function wants has take some time to execute, until that the second function what don't want to wait for it. By that time we use asynchronous function. um, the main example for main use of asynchronous function is what? Improve performance. um, Improve performance means is what? If you are doing a web development, in that uh, uh, we are connecting to our server. For that we use asynchronous function. What means if there is any error occurs while connecting na, that time the asynchronous function will return the code in the try block. um, Basically asynchronous function handles the try and catch block, which means in the try block, if there is no error na, the try block will execute. If there is some error means the catch block will be execute. So um, so this is the main use of asynchronous function. uh, then we'll move on to promise. Basically, what does promise means? Promise is a JavaScript object that links between producing code and consuming code. Producing code is what? It takes some time to run the code. Consuming code, it will wait for the result from the producing code. Let's take the example as tea shop. If we go to tea shop means to make tea, it wants some time. So that is known as producing code. Uh, uh, for the tea, we are waiting. The people who want to consume the tea, for the tea, the people want to wait some time. Consider tea as the result. For the tea, we are waiting. Uh, so take the people as consuming code. Take Consider the tea as result. For the tea, the people are waiting. So it will known as producing consuming code. It will wait for the result from the producing code. For the tea only we are waiting. Producing code making the tea. So this is known as producing code and consuming code. Use of the promises, they are used to handle asynchronous operation. Um, Basically, asynchronous operation will return a promise. Promise will return like after dot, then it will return. Um, if if the asynchronous function is resolved now, resolve means in the dot, then the resolve function will be called. If the asynchronous function will have some error means that time after the dot, then my reject function will be called. Basically, main use of promise is what? Error handling. If you want to um, for a web application, um, we have an error handling. For that, what we want to do? We have to catch that error and display it. For that, we use try and catch block inside promise. For that, we use promise. Okay, now we can overcome with the asynchronous and promise. Now we once again recall it. Uh, Basically, what is asynchronous function? Asynchronous function is a function which can run parallelly. Uh, if we take two function means it want to execute parallelly without if the second function had if the first function takes some time to execute means until that the second function don't want to wait, it can run parallelly and execute at the same time, or one by one its execution time is different basically. And then we move and then what is promise? Promise is a JavaScript object that links between producing code and consuming code. We know that what is producing code and consuming code. Basically promise is used to handle the asynchronous function. In that asynchronous function, um, we basically handle the basically promise is used. Main use of the promise is that error handling. Error handling is what? If there is any error in our application means that want to display, so that we use promise.